Hello everyone and welcome to another Geometry Dash video. 2 days ago I went over every extreme demon and wrote down about 40 of the most forgettable ones, most of which I've never heard of before. To narrow it down even more, I asked all of you, which of these extreme demons have you heard of before, and listed those 40 extreme demons. I've learned you all know way more about extreme demons than I do. In the end, I was able to narrow it down to 10 unnoticed extreme demons, and I also looked at the number of downloads the level has, and the amount of views the verification video has, but those sources were secondary. Also, I know Rivalry did the same thing in his video, Top 10 Forgettable Extreme Demons, but that was when there were only 40 extreme demons out there, while there are 180 currently. I also decided to call it Unnoticed because when you say forgettable, it implies that you've heard of the level before, but now there's so many extreme demons that they just go unnoticed in the community. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 10, Torrential Storm by K-Stroll. Despite this level's 89,000 downloads, only 21.8% of people who took the survey have heard of this level. And to be honest, I'm not surprised. Generally, this level reminds me of an early Darwin level, like in 35%, and an early 2.1 generic level, like in 17%. It's not bad by any means, but it just doesn't stand out. 2/3 into the level, it gets a little bit more interesting where the design resembles that of Heinz, which I think was a good change in pace, but overall the style is inconsistent, and there's barely anything in the level that stands out. Number 9, Surge of Memories by TMN Gaming. This level only has 24,000 downloads, and 21.6% of people who took the survey have heard of this level. This is an art mega collab, and some of the sections look pretty cool. I really like the first and second sections because they all have a clear theme, and I like that realistic look they're both going for. However, I don't think most of the parts after those sections work very well. They don't really go for atmosphere, and most of them go for cartoony art. They still look good on their own, but not in this context. The two sections during the drop especially look out of place. I can barely see what's going on in the first one, and the second one changes the style completely. Still, it definitely gets better in the end. Overall, it's a pretty underrated level, but it still has some problems. Number 8, Base Cave by Bloodshot. Despite this level having 68,000 downloads, only 18.7% of people who took the survey knew this level, and I'm not surprised. This was originally a demon level made in early 2.0, but 2 years ago the creator updated the level to extend the beginning of the level and buff it to Extreme Demon, and later he updated it again to change the decoration, but that version has yet to be verified. I'm pretty sure people have heard of this level, it's just that its buff date went completely unnoticed. Additionally, the buffs look super annoying, especially in the ship part. Overall, a buff date won't bring renewed interest in a level that's already 3 years old. Number 7, Raindance by Milos482. This level only has 15,000 downloads, and 21.7% of people have heard of this level. There really isn't much to say about this level since it's all pretty forgettable. It's pretty typical design for a GD level. Some of the block design, like at the beginning, is decent at best, but the air deco blends into the background so it reminds me of generic levels. It gets a little bit better during the drop, and generally I think it does a good job with sync. There really isn't much else to comment on, moving on. Number 6, Exotic Energy by Alicia. This level has 51,000 downloads, but only 15.3% of people who took the survey have heard of this level. This is probably the best in terms of consistency and keeping the theme. Sure, some parts are pretty empty, but I really like the mechanical/chemical theme. It's pretty obvious this level was made by one person as opposed to 10. Almost all of the backgrounds are circular, which I liked because it kept the consistency. There were a few parts in which the block design was pretty lacking, but generally the block design was complex and contributed to the theme. Overall, while I don't like some of the sections, it definitely deserved to be noticed more. Number 5, The Antimatter by Bionox. This level only has 20,000 downloads, and 18.9% of people who took the survey have heard of this level. This level was verified in July 2017 by Story Guy Esther, who is well known in the community, so I was confused at first as to why this level was so unnoticed. Well, it took forever for the Antimatter to get rated, getting the demon rating in May of this year, where Optop went through his extreme demon rating spree. When it got rated, the level looked pretty outdated. The Antimatter looks similar to Artificial Ideology in the sense that it's more focused on air deco, and where there is complex block design, it's normally darker and harder to see. Also, the whole thing is purple and black. There's a little bit of pink, but I don't think it works in the level. Overall, while this level looks good in 2017, it didn't really age well. Number 4, Limitless by Konzi. This level has 14,000 downloads, and 16.1% of people who took the survey have heard of this level. This is the most difficult level on this list as it's the 116th hardest level in the game. This level is 1.9 styled, which is an overdone style. However, there are some extra 2.0 and 2.1 elements, such as subtle glow and moving objects to make it more interesting, and in my opinion it holds up. It's both a good 1.9 style level, but also an appealing level. Still, I'd like to see some more movement, as the only thing making this level look more alive is the pulse. Overall, this level definitely succeeds at what it was set out to do. Number 3, Alcatraz by Azuith. This level has 12,000 downloads and 15.7% of people who took the survey have heard of this level. This is one of those levels that just don't stand out to me. It's not necessarily bad, it's just it was kind of boring. Some parts went for this over-decorated style, others went for just full-on glow. Most parts went for simple, almost 1.9 block design. 37% was the best in terms of block design, and 44% did a good job with color combinations, but I'm not a fan of 84%. It reminds me of Dan Alex in early 2.1. Again, this isn't a bad level, it just didn't stand out for me in any way. Number 2, Dark Rivalry by Flex. This level has 35,000 downloads, but only 12.8% of people who took the survey have heard of this level, and I was honestly kind of surprised because I assumed Trusta playing it would give attention to the level. I liked most of the decoration, especially the lava section at 28%, but a lot of the deco that I really liked had this foreground where you can't see anything. Also, I didn't really like the section at 53%. It looks too much like the creator's level Cyber Abyss, but green. Overall, while I liked most of the design, there were a few questionable decisions. Number 1, Insaction by BuyABoy11. This level has 12,000 downloads, the lowest out of any extreme demon, and only 7.4% of people who took the survey have heard of this level, and honestly, I don't think it deserves a first spot. It's almost 3 minutes long, making it the longest level on the list. This is a glow level, but way more detailed than all of the other glow levels on this list, and I think it does especially well with color combinations. There are still a few parts that look good on their own, but don't work very well with the level, such as the lava part at 37% and the core-ish parts at 45 and 50%. But generally the style is pretty consistent. Overall, this level is still forgettable as it uses glow style, which is overdone by now, but I don't think it deserves the first spot. In conclusion, the reason why myself and many of my fans haven't heard of these levels is a mix of multiple things. First, many of them are made by an unknown creator or creators. Then it's handed to an unknown verifier. Finally, the difficulty is barely an extreme demon. Sometimes the creators were going for an insane demon. Only 2 extreme demons that were on this list were on the top 150. The others were either on the legacy list or not on point or crate at all, so the more difficult an extreme demon is, the more attention it gets. And of course, another reason why some extreme demons go unnoticed is because RobTop is lazy. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like and a comment, subscribe if you're interested in my content, and as always guys, this is Flaaroni signing out.